Hey everyone, welcome to NASCAR Now. Mike Massaro here alongside Ricky Craven. And on Thursday, we took a step closer to the Great American Race.
Yeah, a couple of really exciting races, but the very first time, Mike, in the history of the duels on Thursday, we had an organization sweep, winning both races, and it wasn't Hendrick Motorsports.
Nope, it wasn't. We'll tell you which organization it was. Plenty of excitement in Daytona, and we've got it covered. Coming up, Matt Kenseth has already won the Daytona 500 twice. Could a third be in the making this year? Why his performance Thursday has placed him among the favorites. And with the way speed weeks have gone so far, Denny Hamlin is quickly making people forget about 2013, how he helped give Joe Gibbs Racing a night to remember. And who's in, who's out? We'll break down the field for the 56th running of the Great American Race coming up next on NASCAR Now. Austin Dillon won the pole for the Daytona 500, but he would have to race in the Budweiser Duel Thursday night. Danica Patrick won the pole a year ago, but had some work to do this evening. Meanwhile, Kyle Busch, a little problem with his splitter, Ricky.
In the front of the car, hitting the racetrack, and when that happens, the driver loses the feel in the steering wheel. Tough night for the 18 team.
Lap 15, Dale Earnhardt Jr. looking awfully racy.
Being Dale Earnhardt Jr. at Daytona, lightning fast, here he is going to the lead.
Flashes by Austin Dillon, Matt Kenseth right in his tire tracks, and Matt Kenseth, he would be the guy pulling out in front on lap 28.
Been a turbulent start 2014 from Matt, but he's making his way to the front.
Austin Dillon, many people wondering how he would run this qualifying race, and was rather conservative.
He played it smart like a veteran, ahead of his years.
Ended up finishing 19th, but did protect that race car. 23 to go, pit stops.
Restrictor plate racetracks, these Goodyear tires are hard. It's hard to stop, very difficult. Watch Ricky Stenhouse in car, grabs third gear, uses the transmission to help slow, and barely slows down in time to get to that marker on pit road.
Sets up a dramatic race to the finish. Kevin Harvick on the bottom of the racetrack. Has the nose of the car out front, but Kenseth too strong up top.
Yeah, Matt Kenseth used a great side draft to come back after Kevin Harvick, and he nips him at the finish line. But don't forget about Casey Kane. Harvick and Kenseth got preoccupied, opened up the door for Kane, and he snuck in there and made a great three-car paddle.
Remember, though, the top 15 transfer. And Danica Patrick and Alex Bowman finishing 14th and 15th. Meanwhile, Kenseth comes out on top in a dramatic three-wide finish, beating Kevin Harvick, Ricky, by, get this, 0.02 of a second. But there was more drama in post-race inspection. Harvick's car was later DQ'd after failing post-race inspection. That helps Danica Patrick and Alex Bowman. They each move up. As you heard, they finished the race 14th and 15th, but they'll move up to 13th and 14th for Bowman. This is big. He'll make his first Sprint Cup Series start. Josh Wise also makes the field. He was 43rd fastest in Sunday's qualifying, so a good run here in his qualifying race to make the Daytona 500. Let's catch up with Marty Smith, who talked with the race winner.
Matt Kenseth goes to victory lane in the first of two Gatorade dual races here at Daytona. Matt, it's been not the best week for you in terms of how the draft has gone. You're in victory lane now. What does this do for your confidence?
Well, I have a lot more confidence I had 2 hours ago, so I haven't been able to do anything right all week. You know, it was one of those weeks where, honestly, you're kind of embarrassed to walk into the garage. So, yeah, today was a good day. I made a move early in the race, and it totally backfired. I got all the way back to 10th or something, and rode there a long time until that bottom got going. Then was finally able to get some moves to work and work real good with Dale Jr. and Kevin there, and we kind of got some momentum in the lane we wanted to be in, and just had barely enough to hold off. Kevin did a great job of holding back, and I saw the move coming the whole time, but he did it so fast there's no way I could block it, and fortunately I was able to sniff just enough air off the back there to get enough of a run to the finish.
You've been here before when it mattered. How does this impact your opportunity to be here Sunday afternoon?
You know, winning never hurts. It always builds confidence. It's a great start to the year. You know, it's a qualifying race. It's not the same as winning Daytona 500, but any win you can get is always big. It builds confidence, I think, in everybody. So I wasn't really very happy with our car yesterday, and Jason worked really hard on it and made some changes, so it drove a lot better for me, and really didn't give up any speed. So, you know, we'll do a little practicing tomorrow and hopefully have it good for Sunday.
Two-time Daytona 500 champion Matt Kenseth. Looks like he's got a horse to go for a third one on Sunday.
Thank you, Marty. So Kenseth picks up his second career win in a dual race. He also won it in 2012, and it boded pretty well for him. He also went on to win the Daytona 500 that same year. Before him, no driver had won both his qualifying race and the 500 in the same season since Dale Earnhardt Jr. did it in 2004. Only 4 drivers have done it since 1990. And, Ricky, it was interesting to hear the interview with Matt Kenseth. He said he was embarrassed to walk in the garage before Thursday.
You know, it's interesting, Mike, because this is such a unique type of racing, restricted plate racing, that you can find yourself in a situation where you feel like maybe you lose credibility, and consequently you lose confidence. And you and I watching would never take that position with Matt Kenseth, but it's different when you're the man. Won a couple Daytona 500s. He makes a move last Saturday night in the Sprint Unlimited that doesn't work out and collects Joey Logano, and then he comes back and he shows the resilience of a champion, a driver that's won 31 times at the Sprint Cup level and puts the 20 car in victory lane. That's the type of driver you have with Matt Kenseth, and that's why this team's going to be a threat, just like they were last year for the title.
And it wasn't as if he coasted to victory. He had to earn it in a 3-wide finish.
Yeah, Kevin Harvick timed it perfectly off of turn 4, except it would have been perfect had he won. He got a good run on Matt Kenseth. Matt Kenseth, being as savvy as he is, put a side draft move on Kevin Harvick, stalled him out maybe 500 yards from the finish, and got a run, got the momentum back to the start-finish line. Both drivers became preoccupied with one another enough to open the door for Kasey Kahne, and it created a dramatic finish. But a great way to start the year.
Yeah, let's talk about Kevin Harvick a little bit. Post-race inspection did not go so well for the 4-car. Harvick's car failed post-race inspection, but as he starts the Daytona 500 from the back, he'll have some help. His teammates, Tony Stewart and Danica Patrick, are there with him. What do you make of the situation, those Stewart-Haas cars having to start at the back for the 500?
Well, I mean, it's good to have friends, you know, and it's a hard way of doing business, but he's won the Daytona 500. He understands restricted plate racing, Kevin Harvick does. Had a very strong performance today, and I think the team can find some value in that. Yeah, it's disappointing to lose that third starting spot, but what they showed today is that the car has speed. Kevin's very comfortable in the car, got a lot of confidence. They didn't damage the car, so this is the same car they'll use on Sunday, and I say that this is a small hill to climb for the 4 team.
And to some degree, it's also good for the fans because it's a lot of fun watching fast race cars make their way from the back of the field toward the front. Don't go away, folks. We still have plenty left under our hood. With Matt Kenseth winning race number 1, Joe Gibbs Racing was looking for dual dominance, but could Denny Hamlin make his way through the carnage in race 2? And we'll take a closer look at the Daytona 500 field. Who else looks good, and who has some work to do before Sunday's green flag? Don't just... Just a quick reminder, NASCAR Now returns Friday, 11:30 p.m. Pacific on ESPN2. We'll catch up with a couple of Nationwide Series rookies. Chase Elliott and Ty Dillon join us on the show. Budweiser dual race number 2, defending Daytona 500 winner Jimmie Johnson starting 7th. Brad Keselowski starting 3rd. And lap 3, Keselowski looking awfully racy, Ricky.
Brad Keselowski got off to a great start in this race, showed a lot of muscle, really did everything right through the first half of the event.
He bypasses Martin Truex Jr. Lap 36, though, things would take a turn for the worse for the 2 team.
Everything looks okay, but, you know, maybe a mental error here for Brad as he leaves pit road, speeding, a little too much urgency, then has to pay the penalty. A drive-through, but he locks up the left front tire. Why is that important? Well, lap 41.
Yep, here may be some evidence of locking up those tires. He has a flat tire, and that would certainly cost Keselowski. He would end up finishing 24th. Meanwhile, lots of drama on the closing lap. Jimmie Johnson, Jamie McMurray getting together, setting off a dramatic multi-car crash coming to the checkers.
When you have this many cars running nose to tail at Daytona, and a driver has a situation like Jimmie Johnson did here, where he ran out of fuel, had no place to go, the other drivers behind him just can't react quick enough. Jamie McMurray collects the 48, and the rest of the drivers are along for the ride.
Yeah, Clint Boyer especially getting a wild ride, ends up on the roof of his car for a while. Meanwhile, Denny Hamlin, all that happened in his rear view mirror, and Hamlin picks up the victory in duel number 2, continuing his perfect speed weeks. Of course, he did win the Sprint Unlimited on Saturday night. And let's not forget, he won the season finale in 2013. Plenty of momentum there for the 11 team. Meanwhile, Jeff Gordon comes home second. He was looking for his 6th career dual win, most among active drivers. Both Bobby and Terry Labonte also made the field thanks to that last lap wreck. So let's catch up with the winner. Let's go back to Marty Smith.
Denny Hamlin goes to victory lane in the second of 2 Budweiser dual qualifying races for the Daytona 500. Denny, how does this impact your opportunity to win the Daytona 500 on Sunday?
You know, honestly, it doesn't change that much because we know, you can yo-yo yourself from the front to the back in no time, but obviously it gives us a better shot at a better pit stall. Obviously, starting up front, you avoid early trouble. So that, and I mean, this kind of momentum never hurt anyone.
Speaking of that momentum, you win the Unlimited last Saturday night, and now you're in victory lane here. What level of confidence do you have right now that you will win the Daytona 500?
I mean, we haven't lost anything lately, so it becomes contagious. We've heard in the past winning is contagious, and for us right now, it's what we expect. And every time we hit the racetrack, I'm trying to figure out how to get to the checkered first, and it's working out for us.
Don't forget, he started this season with 2 consecutive victories, and he ended the 2013 season in victory lane in Miami. Denny Hamlin in victory lane at Daytona.
No question, Marty. He is on a roll. Hamlin, just the 3rd driver in the last 4 years to win both the Sprint Unlimited and Budweiser Duel in the same season. Now he'll try to do what no driver has ever done before. That's win both of those and the Daytona 500 in the same year. Since 2000, 5 other drivers have won the first 2 legs, but 3 of those finished outside the top 35 in the 500. Of course, the moment in that race everyone will be talking about on Friday is the final lap. Ricky, let's take another look.
Yeah, once again, Jimmy Johnson, you could see the car start to stall out. It lost momentum. We didn't know until the race was over when Jimmy Johnson was interviewed that he ran out of fuel, but it certainly makes sense watching this. And again, the drivers that are behind Jamie Murray and Jimmy Johnson have little room for error.
So many cars involved and nothing but bitterness afterwards.
I just ran out of gas, and I feel terrible that so many good race cars were torn up, and thankfully everybody's okay. I mean, I saw the replay just now and see the 15 upside down and tumbling. Man, I hate it. I ran out, got my hand out the window and was trying to get up out of the way. But with that much energy coming to the checkered flag, I just couldn't get out of the way in time, and I got turned around.
Hindsight's 20/20. Yeah, we should have parked the damn thing, But, we're out here to race. It's what we do. And, Todd said we'll go race, see what happens. If we, something bad happens, we got a backup that's just as good. We'll be fine. So it doesn't matter where we start here anyway. We, the biggest thing is I feel bad for the guys that built the race car and put all the effort into, getting a front row race car and then, us not being able to use it on Sunday.
Lucky to be sitting here laughing about it. I'm well aware when them babies go upside down, it can be bad, but I kind of flexed up. They caught me off guard because here I was trying to figure out how I was going to maneuver away from the wall, and keep it out of the fence, keep from tearing it up for the 500. And I felt somebody just barely tap me, and that baby got light quick. Then the sky was on the wrong side. And I think I closed my eyes when I opened them back up. Hell, I was headed in the right direction and downshifted and drove it back to the garage. But what a wild deal.
So it has already been a dramatic speed weeks. We saw crashes in the Unlimited, in one of the duels. We also saw a crash during practice. One of the casualties of this 9-car crash was the guy who was supposed to start on the outside of the front row, Martin Truex Jr. How much of a setback is this for him in that race team?
It's pretty small. This is a really good driver with a really good team that made the playoffs last year with Kurt Busch. And, I like what I see from this team. The problem is the Daytona 500 is the most important, the biggest race of the year until Monday, okay? and so right now it feels awful. But Martin Truex Jr. and that 78 team can still contend for a 500 win on Sunday.
Meanwhile, on the other side of the coin, you find Denny Hamlin. You think back to 2013, and with the exception of Homestead, it didn't seem like anything could go right for that guy in that race team. This year, though, everything is going right.
Yeah, and typically the 2.5 months that mark the end of the season to the beginning of a new year, there's too much time for me to believe that momentum carries over. But in this case, I'm a believer. Denny Hamlin has done everything right in 2014. And when you think back to 2013, Mike, what separated that organization and that 11 team from making the playoffs? Well, it wasn't the crew chief, it wasn't the cars and the engines and the team, and it really wasn't the driver. It was the health of the driver. And I think with that corrected, Denny picks up where he left off a few years ago, and he's one of the 3 or 4 drivers to beat, and he's a strong candidate to be one of the last men standing when we go to those final 4 drivers in Miami at the end of the year.
Yeah, there's no question that Denny Hamlin looks healthy. And he also has some very fast race cars.
Yes, he does.
That makes him feel even better, I'm sure. Don't go away, folks. Still ahead. You don't necessarily need to win a qualifying race to look good going into the 500. Here, who else appears strong heading into Sunday?
Hey guys.